everyone. It's Tuesday night again. You know what that means, don't you? It's time to join Mike and Christy for another episode of Where's My Sage? A show hosted by a psychic medium and a guy on a quest to find Bigfoot. Who would have thought? Together, they will take you on all sorts of adventures, and not with lots of different people. Christy even gives readings. It's time to sit back, get up and get ready. You can't sample the universe sitting down. Your hosts are waiting. Come on, let's go.
So we're back. Welcome to Where's My Sage? It's Ace of the Universe. I'm Mike with my wonderful co-host, Christy London. How are you doing tonight, Christy?
I'm doing okay. How are you?
I'm surviving tonight. I am continually pushing on the wrong buttons on my equipment.
Hence the late start.
Yes, hence the late start. Yes, Mike
That's
is
okay. I caught up on my game while you were doing that.
pushing the wrong buttons tonight. So, hello, Trackway. Good evening,
hello.
sir, and Deb. We got both of you guys tonight. So, welcome. So, we got some interesting things going on. So folks are coming in, and Mike is pushing the wrong buttons this evening. He's doing a great job of that.
Well, you are the master of that.
I am the master of pushing the wrong buttons or the right buttons. I don't know. Let's see that there. That's better. We're going back to.
I don't like that one. I don't like that one either.
I don't like that one either. Okay.
Well,
I literally got a permanent one to use up here, and yeah, it doesn't like me today. We're going, okay, there we go. No.
Okay, that's a little better. I like the first one that you had.
All right. No, that's not the first one. There we go. Hang on. There we go.
Okay. Yeah, there it is. That's better.
All right. Oh, goodness.
You should just listen to me in the first place, dummy.
Yeah, I know. Or just use the new one I bought, but I got too many bright lights on it right now.
Did you rush to get
this one here anyway? Yes, the forest clock is gone. So
yes, he is. I am by myself. There is nobody on the sides of me or in front of me.
No, I'm far enough away.
Yes.
So what's been going on? What have you had going lately?
Let's see. The current. Something's really dragging me down. I don't know if I'm getting sick or this feels kind of more like, well, maybe a flare up again already, and that will not be fun. But I also feel like I'm connecting with a spirit though. It hurts. Because it started a little while before the show. Huh?
I said for a non-reading show. Yeah.
I know. Well, go figure. It never stops with me. Are you kidding? It never stops. But yeah, in this area, but in my back, it's like a really just hard pain in my back there, and it's just got me down. And now my palms are sweating. But that can also happen if I have a flare up. So I don't know. But
well, I better put this up then.
Whatever. But yeah, I'm like extremely warm, and you know me, now that I'm down 36 pounds, I've lost a lot of weight, and awesome. I'm always freezing my ass off now though. I used to be warm. I used to this perimenopausal thing is great. I don't have to layer anymore. I'm always warm, blah, blah, blah. And now I freeze my arse off. It's awful. I'll still take it though. It's a small trade-off, but I'm getting like clammy all over. Just sitting here. So if anyone can relate to this in any way or pass it on to someone you think can, then no, this is not a reading show, but anything goes with me, so, we'll see how I feel. But I got done up for you guys. I had no makeup on. I had a messy bun today all day. So, but what have I been up to? Now that we get that out of the way.
I think you had a very busy weekend, and we met some really
I think
cool
you had a
new
very busy
people.
weekend. Yeah. Oh my gosh, it was great. So we were at oh yeah, this is like I'm sweating. I'm starting to sweat. And I just saw something dark fly across my ceiling that way. So
Well, the heat did come up. The bugs are coming out, and I know. Hi, Patrick. Hello. He found the live. Oh.
I might have to put shorts on. And I have light PJ pants on. I'm gonna blow myself in. I have light PJ pants on because I still had my outfit on from today, which was just comfy stretch pants or whatever, but I'm like dying. So we were at the Earth Spirit Expo this weekend. You gotta help me out here. You just sit here and let me make a spectacle.
I told you.
Oh man. Holy crap. I have to go.
Yes, so Earth Spirit Expo. So okay, so she's gonna run. So let's see. What do we got going? We got Facebook and then slight delay with Facebook. Okay. Yeah, the Facebook tends to come in a little slower. That's why we're coming to you from YouTube. So yeah, tonight we are coming to you from Where's My Sage on Facebook, Christy's public page on Facebook, and Tactical Bigfoot Research on YouTube. This is going to be one of those nights. Tonight we are going to talk energy and vibration, and already we're showing it's being one of those evenings. So good evening, Jen. So again, we got a group of different folks on. We're going to talk some of the apps. We're going to talk about some of the energy. We're going to talk a little energy healing. We're going to put some stuff out to the universe. And Trackway is going to try to conjure up the max. So we're going to kind of just talk about energy and everything. So Earth Spirit Expo this weekend. Christy did some readings. Earth Spirit Expo. Yeah. Did I miss something?
Yeah, you mispronounced it. It's all good. Earth Spirit. Tranquil. Blah.
Yeah, tranquil blah. And that kind of goes to some of the stuff we're going to talk about tonight. Some of the, folks with different listenings and stuff. We are posting on a group with Chatting with TW. Awesome. Charcuterie board. Yes. So I could go for a charcuterie board.
Me too. Do you remember when I was a total ass to you that night we went to the premiere of your Bigfoot movie and we're sitting at the bar? Yeah. And I was totally wrong and giving you so much shit for pronouncing it wrong, and you were saying it right and I was saying it wrong. And you guys, he was so nice. He didn't even argue with me. He just was like, okay, whatever. So don't say I didn't. I never admit when I'm wrong about something. Okay.
We have no sponsors, but I gotta say this liquid death water is freaking amazing. This pina colada. So it's good. Yeah.
So
absolutely amazing.
Earth Spirit Expo. I can't say it either. Okay. This is the first time either of us did this, right? I'm gonna make sure there's no information that shouldn't be shared. What a classy event.
Yes.
Right? Like very seriously, what a classy event. From start to finish. It was very well organized, very well put together. It was very, very comfortable dealing with Tracy and Dave, the organizers, and they had their ducks in a row, and they knew what the vendors needed and wanted and looked for. They knew what the readers needed and wanted and looked for. A lot of thought went into it. But most importantly, they were exceptionally approachable. Actually, I didn't even have to approach them. I don't know about you. But
no, they approached me. I mean, they were awesome.
Yeah, they really were. It was great, and it was so nice to see the people there. Lots of people, like we all do all different fairs and work with all different, organizers and stuff. And it was just really, but the group as a whole was, it was a very nice atmosphere, right? Just overall, It was, and we had some very nice neighbors. We had Grace with the teas, your Soul in Bloom, I think it was tea. Shoot, I don't have her card with me. I think it's still in my stuff.
It's in the other room. I have to go grab it. So
yeah, and it's in my suitcase over there with all my table stuff. And then we had hi Linda.
we had Teresa across from us. We had
Teresa Johnson across from us. The nice girl we met. She was newer. She's never done this one either. Oh, I can't think of it. I feel so bad, but she was super sweet, and her products were super cool. She actually hold on a second. Here I go again.
You're running away.
I am.
I bet you I find it before you.
Okay. Here it is. Okay, Lumina by Liss.
Oh, you beat me.
No. It's a sage spray. She gifted this to me at the end. Wasn't that nice of her? And it's a room spray. Or you can it's a body spray, but you can use it as a room spray. It was really cool. No, my bad. It was a room. So she and I did talk about different things. Yeah. No, yeah, body, home, or whatever. But we were talking about different ways to cleanse a space on the DL. That's why I have room stuck in my head. That's why she was like, "Here, try this," and it smells really nice.
No, it's very, very nice.
And she was a sweetheart. I'm so sorry, I don't remember her name, or the name of her company, her business. But yeah, it was.
And it's much more polite than sage that shit that I make. So
yeah, but we're not. I mean, we know how to be quiet. You can dress us up and take us out, or it's game on. Okay. Yeah. It is what it is.
My spray chase away evil spirits, Bigfoot, and cleanse the house while you're at it.
But, it was really neat because it was a very busy weekend in the area, and lots were going on. It was really nice weather for the most part, but there was also a tornado warning for one area. So I think, hi Grace, even though it was nice, I think some people were a little put off because I know Jeannie and Sandy were going to go to Batavia to gamble, but they didn't go because of the tornado warning. And actually, my girls were coming back in. Hey, Andrea, from a concert in Pittsburgh, and Abby said they drove right into it coming home, so they had to hurry at home to miss it. But so it was a little slower than they expected, and a little slower historically for them. And even on Saturday, Dave he came up to me, and I thought something was wrong at first. And he was just, because he had this look of concern. Actually, he's like, "How are you doing here? How is everything going today? Have you had any business?" Like, he was concerned and apologetic because it was a little slower. But we did great business, and we still had great groups, and the venue was still busy. Right, it's just, but still, he's
some of our viewers came down and came to visit you, right. And I mean that was kind of awesome that hearing folks watch the show.
Yeah.
Hey Penny.
Hi, Penny.
Oh, yeah, Trackway. We need to check those out because they're close to the border. So,
cool.
But Jeremiah had a whole bunch of stuff posted on those sightings there in Northeast Ohio. So yeah, I mean, it was great. I mean, I go to a lot of different trade shows and work a lot of different trade shows. The booths were set up nice. The map, the list of who was there, the speakers were great. Got to hang out with Tim for a little bit. I'll be on his show next week. So next Tuesday night, we're not on because we're every other Tuesday, but I'll be on Tim Shaw show next week, Black Cat Lounge. So, it's good.
I'm going to
We
be
got
on
Steve
A Realm
Money.
of Darkness on the 19th on Thursday. So you've got Tim Show on Tuesday, and I'm going to be on Realm of Darkness on Thursday on the 19th.
So
Ashley and Nate.
So I'm going to talk Bigfoot. You're going to talk your stuff. So next week we're going to be able to shoot, chat, and whatever. So
yeah.
But tonight,
we've put out to different. We've reached out to different venues and different. We were looking pretty hard yesterday too at some of the upcoming events. If you guys know of any events that still have openings coming up here, even for the fall and stuff, like I'm still planning my year. So if there's anything that you guys know of that's happening, let us know. Shoot us a message, because I'm looking to truly get out there and expand, even in different states. We'll travel. I have no problem with that. We'll travel for events. So, yeah. All right, that's it.
Okay. So
frequencies.
You want to talk frequencies and energies, and we've done some investigations lately. We've talked about some things. We had some folks that were near us with some singing bowls this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
We've been on a couple of investigations. The topic comes up quite a bit, and I think we're going to let you run the lead on that. And again, please like, share, subscribe. I gotta do this for the numbers, because I got some guests that I got planned coming soon. I got to reach we're kind of in talks with some folks. So it just seems like we all have our shows on the same night for some reason. I don't know. And when all your friends decide that they're all going to go back live again and they all pick Tuesday night, it always makes
figures.
So
so this actually was sparked by a question that somebody asked me recently. They texted this to me, so I want to read it.
All right.
Okay. So, so they go on to say, so you know how spirits can manipulate the frequencies of spirit boxes to talk. Do you think that spirit guides can do the same, or no? Because they basically operate on a high frequency. You never hear about spirit guides coming through on the boxes and such, saying they can't. That was the gist of it. So if you were to follow the frequency logic and how to manipulate spirit boxes to cycle through a higher hertz than what they typically do. I think they were voice to texting this. Do you think it would create almost a direct line to spirit guide communication? So basically that question obviously was, and it was a good point. Like with all the investigating and everything that we've always done, I have never, ever had a spirit guide come through. But I mean, we're going to put it out there now. You use any kind of equipment, you use any kind of spirit box, anything like that. You only know, hi, Mom. Woo! Jeannie's here. Everybody say hi to Mom. Hi, Sheila.
Hi, Sheila.
I miss you.
What a great thought. I wonder where that came from.
All right, we'll give credit where credit is due. There he is right there. I got this text from Patrick about a week or so ago. He loves to shoot me messages like that and go, here, this is what you ready for this week? Because this is what's in my head this week, There you go. But I mean, really, it was very interesting. And I found that I kept thinking about it. And, you're right. But when you were working with spirit boxes and you were working with that, you do have to remember, you cannot trust 100% what is coming through, even if it's consistent, because spirits can lie. You can have a resident spirit. You might be able to validate in other ways. And if with a medium there, you get the two of us together.
It's a scary place in there.
Yes. And yeah, in your head, dude. Yes. But very interesting at the same time. But so just putting it out there now, like, right, we are relying on what spirit is willing and able to tell us, right? But I have never thought to ask for a spirit guide to come forward. And nobody I've ever investigated with has ever done that. But I think for me, it's because spirit guides are divine. They were not human. They vibrated at a much higher frequency than we do. So to come through a spirit box like that, that's why he said, what if you were to build a box basically that at a different frequency or a higher frequency that could handle that communication, because then you can roll right into, well, what about angels? Angels are even higher. Spirit just really wants to interrupt today. Sorry, guys. So that's basically what it was. So really want to get it out there and see, and we want you guys to participate. So please let us know what your thoughts are, and interact with us. Really let us know what you think and what your feelings are on it. And what are you laughing at now?
Well, I thought that I had a ticker in there for myself for opinions. So first of all, we are not audiologists. We are not physicists.
We're not doctors.
We're not doctors. But as
We're
we talk
engineers.
about, is energy or anything like this. This is really to stimulate thought about the frequencies, the energies, and we're gonna, Christy's bringing up the spirit boxes, and there's a lot of times that, yeah, I'm interested in see what they're gonna do because I did watch one blow up in front of me once. But was it the wiring in the box? Was it something else? And I'm always the skeptic on a lot of these things, and I've been on a few investigations where folks are right on what they supposedly hear on a spirit box or an EVP. And I've gotten where it's almost a leading question where somebody says, I hear this, and then everybody hears exactly. So I guess even we talked about it the other day is that when we talk about sound vibration and EVPs, that if I'm with a group of people now, everybody's going to start writing down what they hear, and they're not going to shout it out anymore, because I really think you're getting that group conscious of what's there. And again, these are my opinions. I have a partner that picks up on things, but I have, over the last couple of years going out, because I'm not, now we do more. You have done more the paranormal investigation, where I want flesh and blood. I want my microscope. I want my magnifying glass. I want my camera to see what I'm looking at. Where
you want your toys.
Yeah, but I'm just saying is that we go out and and we've got a couple of EVPs that I can't explain, where I've walked in a room and said, all right, everybody at the same time shout out what you hear, not what did you hear? Then what did you hear? What did you hear in the whole room? Right. That's what I'm saying. Now we're having to write things down. We're having folks, I'm making suggestions. Hey, you think you got a really clear EVP? If it's that good, you just brought it up. Voice to text. Run it through your Dragon's, Dragon was the old one, but your voice to text, your dictation software. The dictation software has gotten much better, unless you're getting a text message from me and then I just send, because you don't know what you're going to get. I think they're funny sometimes, but I think that we see and we hear, the Bigfoot world. There's a lot of us that use Audacity or some of the other audio recordings, so we can visually look at what we're hearing. And there's a difference, we got in this conversation, and we've gotten this conversation before with the Bigfoot folks, with the vibration and everything. And some of these recorders that are out there, nobody's using a standardized recorder. Everybody's got something different. Yeah, you got Sony, you got Panasonic, you got whatever. Yeah, they're name brand recorders, but not everybody on your investigation is carrying the same recorder. Each one of those recorders now has a different filter on it to pick up different frequency, as we say, and they're picking up different hertz levels and everything else. So what's cleaning stuff out, where really, if you want to think about this stuff, there's go back to the old phonograph where stuff was etched into those reels, because that's probably the closest thing you're going to get through that vibration of what's going to get put into those wheels. But I'm not carrying around a phonograph in the middle of the woods or in the middle of a haunted house. I mean, it might have Victrola.
You used to have one in your bedroom, right? When you were little?
100 years old, yeah. With my Twisted Sister stuff on it.
Could you imagine?
Yeah, if anybody knows Dee Schneider, we'd like to get him on the show, or I would, so.
But you're right, though. I think that's a very good idea, because I for one, I don't use a lot of equipment. I have a little bit, but I am the equipment. When I go to, I'm not there to use equipment. I'm there to be who I am. Right. And, when I try to listen, me and my old ears, even when my ears were younger, things like that, I've never been able to decipher. When there's a lot of static, a lot of background noise, a lot of different frequency, my ears never like that, any of that stuff. So to say definitively yes or no, sometimes yes, but a lot of times I can't decipher. I don't know for sure. And it's very frustrating, right? Because you can have 4 people say, yeah, that's, oh yeah, definitely. And I'm going, I barely even heard that. How did you make out those 3 words? I think it's a very good idea, not because it's a trust issue, but because everyone hears things and perceives things so differently. I think it's fun actually to think of doing it where everyone writes it down and then see where, they say, that you can find that on Rerun, like any place nowadays, right, Erica? Just saying. It is a good movie, but still.
The Rookie's on and I got to shut down,
Number 1, I talked to you while I was watching that today. I let you call me and did not yell at you for interrupting that show. And 2, we did the whole show. It didn't start till 10 o'clock, so you can bite me. Okay? Whatever.
Yeah.
So, but seriously, I think it's a good idea. I think sometimes the more anonymous you can be, the more authentic it is. And that's what you want, because the more, people get so upset when, you want to debunk things that they're saying and because they're looking at it like you don't trust them, or you think that they're making things up, and that's just not the case. The only way to really figure out what's most authentic is to weed out the other stuff first. And when you present it that way, then they're like, oh, they flip the perspective. We didn't think about it like that. So I think the more we can do to have as much evidence-based as possible, the better, because even in mediumship, it's the same way, the way I teach, the way, I was taught, the way you want to get as much evidential mediumship as possible, things from spirit that they can offer you that your sitter can actually validate for you. Because that's the only way. You've got someone who's gone and you've got the person in front of you. That's the only validation you're going to get. But even so, I can do a party of, 5 people and have 3 of them be related and have the same spirit come forward, and they may not all be able to do whatever, but spirit can give specific evidential mediumship examples or pieces of information to these people and let them validate. But they would be like, you told my cousin what? I don't remember that. And the cousin was like, oh my God, that's awesome. That's exactly how I remember it. And this other cousin's going, no, but yeah, I remember it this way, and so spirit knows what they're doing, but you need that validation of a person who lived it, who can actually say, yes, firsthand, this is what I remember, what I did.
Or you end up with a game of telephone,
Right.
But then again, you get somebody like me. If I don't have my hearing aids in, I'm hearing one frequency or another. All the years of diving and stuff, my ears are shot with certain tonal things and stuff, because I've blown my ears out so much,
Right. Even as a dental assistant, I think that's partly what did it with my ears too. Noticing the changes now with the drills that we work with every day, all day long. Yeah. After a while, we have those issues as well.
So that's why we all kind of interpret those things, I think, a little bit different. And kind of goes back to, if we're going to look at, frequency and everything like that, like color wavelengths and stuff like that. It's sound waves, color waves. We're all moving up. Oh, there we go. We just got to start listening to the Beach Boys more often. I guess we're just getting out there and for some Red Hot Chili
Got my
Peppers.
Beatles shirt on today.
Get the surf stuff going.
Yeah.
Pictionary, charades, telephone, all the same time. Yeah. So we've had.
It's true though.
Yes.
Oh, there you go.
So we got a lot of Twisted Sister fans in here. So like Eric said, just paranoia and pictures and videos. Yeah, what we're getting and what we're there. And so I mean, how many of you guys think that's a good idea? That you're there and it's kind of like an unanimous vote. I hand everybody a notebook and say, all right, EVP 1, you heard something, write it down, and then compare them at the end of the night. Not right then and there. I mean, that's kind of
Right.
unless you're trying to get some kind of conversation going. But those things are so much there. Erica makes a good point. Finding a recorder that dictation comes out on the screen. I just want to kind of catch a couple of these in here. Multi-estate headphones that Sheila's talking about.
yes. Yeah, I like this.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's 2 out of 3 people had the same response. Yeah, if you are doing that live listen, I know.
Mm-hmm. But even that's hard for me. Even that's hard with it right in my ears.
Yeah, but like I use them as a secondary record. Almost if I don't have my hearing aids in the woods with stereo. Again, I'm using stereo microphones. And I suggested Bill the other day that we go out and get some conference 360 speakers. When you're out there, you can kind of pick up the whole surround sound.
Right.
Deb says she agrees, struggles with EVP. It really is. I mean, like I said, where we're gonna go. I know Jen has a pretty good ear for them.
Hi, Jen.
So
that's
and
nice.
then,
I wish I did.
And then let's see, Andrea's got talking length sometimes about the stuff I learned and tried with the Monroe Institute class remote viewing. They based all their studies off of frequency, and it works for me. For me, it did anyway. Monroe Institute, I got to get there. I have a bunch of friends that teach down there. Brian, unfortunately, passed, one of my mentors, my energy healing mentors.
Yeah,
Brian Daly, the bomb when it came to energy healing. I mean, the guy was an engineer first and then a forensic surgeon. And man, when he showed me how to use crystals and everything else is a professional using those things. The frequency, and he had that biofield imager. So you want to talk about looking at energy movement. That's some crazy, crazy stuff. I have to go pull, put thermal cams up, and this measures your auras and stuff like that. And just absolutely crazy. Oh, well, thank you for staying with us, Michelle. So she decided to stay with us instead of watching a movie.
Thank you.
Hi, Barb.
That's funny. Hi, Barb.
Yeah.
So what do you guys say? Oh, sorry.
Okay, so Michelle says, I hear all the time people say they hear something completely different than what they hear. And, I think there's a lot of times that things are going on. Let's see. Andrea wanted to do it bad. It was fascinating. Joe McGonigal taught class.
Let's go
Christy
take one.
Christy and I have a friend, Shannon, who's actually talking about getting Joe. She's friends with Joe and talking about having Joe come up to this area, to Western New York, to do one of his classes. So yeah, I got a couple of his books in the other room. So for those that don't know, Joe was part of the Third Eye Spy groups and stuff like that. The men that talk to goats, really cool stuff. And see, Bill says, keep in mind, many so-called EVPs are audio distortion or talking under one's breath. They said the true EVPs and disembodied voices are out there. Yeah, they are definitely out there. But there used to be. I used to wear my microphone on my chest, and I don't know how many times, eating lunch in the field, and that's what I was hearing was my stomach grumbling. So I put my speakers on, I put my microphones on the back because you'd be like,
I've heard your stomach grumble. It's not pretty. Yeah, not pretty.
hear a bunch of breathing going on. I mean, that makes a difference. And
I think what helps to make the difference in those kinds of situations is timing. When there's multiple cases of asking the questions and you're getting a response that sounds like what you think you're hearing, and it's the timing, because there's so many times, right, where you ask a question or you're doing something and the timing is off or there's a delay, then you could definitely say, okay, this could be something else. But it's, I think, even little things like that, everything, we have to take everything into consideration. But I definitely do not argue that point at all. Yeah, that sometimes it is, just radio interference or static, and sometimes it can be very hard to tell.
Well, and that kind of goes into, I don't know how many folks, and again, this is my opinion, how many folks are using these apps now, the ghost apps, and like, oh, we're getting the words. Well, with AI the way it is today, I mean, just think about your phone. I mean, as we sit here, I may have said 5 things. Now, if I pulled up Amazon and see what Amazon's going to sell me in the last 5 minutes, how many ghost things are going to pop up on my Amazon? How many are going to pop up in my Google? Because we've said, oh, we're going to talk ghosts here. So let's see what we got here.
Right.
Yep. We got a couple of ghost things pop up, in that. So, there's that really question that, yes, Patrick, I know there's a couple that work without the internet. But there's a lot of software that, where are they getting there? Eric says that they bring a medium or bring a psychic with them for investigations, even don't have to use recorders, but we bring a recorder and a psychic and a flashlight. I mean, again, the most amount of documentation we
that
get.
Is my
I ran high-end thermal cameras the last time we went on one.
Mm-hmm.
We had, how many different devices going, plus thermal cams for video and everything like that. So,
right.
And then, I mean, if we're going to talk wavelengths, how many of you folks carry a UV light with you? I know my Bigfoot folks do, because I probably handed them one, at least in this group. But how many haunted or, alleged haunted houses we've been into that we go in with UV light and we find a lot of stuff scribed in Tide, or there was the some of the acids that were done in that Gar house we went to, where they had the invisible inks that were, drawings and writings that were right into the wallpaper, that if you weren't using something to turn around in, what am I looking for? The key word I'm looking for here. I mean, either heat or another chemical reaction to turn around and, pull those items up so you can actually see them. The old black light works great. And how much, I mean, even recently, the last couple of houses we've been in, all over. Yeah. The crayon on the walls, Sheila, but what crayons, but even using, some of these places, 1800s, where they're using some kind of lemon juice or something like that old invisible ink. And I'm really drawn for words tonight. So, endothermic with the heat, but like a rehydrating agent, but I can't. Yeah.
So I'm very curious to know from you techie people. See, this is where we should have had like Jeff Fent, people like that on to see what their opinions would be too. What do you think? Do you think it would be possible to make something or to have something like a spirit guide come through? What do you guys think?
Well, it's possible. I mean, the other thing is, some of the other apps that you can run, and I'm going to,
because think about it. They're not going to, spirit guides vibrate at a frequency that is higher than a human spirit energy, right? And then how are they going to be able to come through and work with a frequency that they are too high above? All right. You know what?
No, I'm here. No.
Don't be a baby.
I'm
Are
trying to
you
share that
blowing your
screen.
nose?
No, I'm trying to share that screen, but I need to take that visual.
So what do you guys
effects
think?
off. And we can't see that, can we?
Wait a minute. You could. Why are you doing it that? What the hell are you doing? Why? So you said you're having trouble. I might have been clicking buttons before you got on tonight. Looking a few things over. I might have turned something off.
Yeah,
but I don't know for sure. I don't think, not for sure though. I still think this is a Mike problem, not a Christy problem.
No, but there's some apps that are out here, like this particular one, which is physics.
You had to put me up right when I was freaking yawning. Are you kidding me? Please pay attention. God, I'm sick of you already.
Fell into a portal.
Jeez.
Mike went to disembodied voices. Mike, don't walk towards the light. You guys just want to push me to the pond.
He does that again.
Well, if I do this, it'll work. So I need to take the banner off just for a second.
Michael.
Yeah, I'm here. You can hear me.
I mean, I can start clicking things myself. Do you really want that to happen?
Right. But like I said, there are some programs that are out there for us to be able to detect. This particular one is, like I said, is Physics Toolbox. But we can actually go through and look at some of these things in color and where they're going, or using a spectrum analyzer to see where those sounds and colors are coming in. Close that out. Or watching those frequencies. So a lot of time when you guys are getting on with the spirit boxes, I'll run some of these apps to really see, what the tonal stuff is, where are those hertz levels and things going. And again, I am not a, scientist by any means, but again, we can take a look at, where these things are as I talk and what hertz levels are coming out. But detecting color.
Mike, do you want to describe what you're doing for the people who are going to listen to this later?
Yeah, so there's a physics toolbox suite that allows you to use some of the sensors that are in your phone to really go in and take a look at different items that are out there. So you can actually go in and look at the sound meters. You can see what your decibel levels are, and you can watch how your sounds move. So are you getting different movements? Or you can check those tones or use an oscilloscope. So what you're seeing right now for those people, listening in, is my voice, and really taking a look at that. And that's something that we find that we can do if we went over to like Merlin, the Bird app, and we did the same thing. So we put a sound ID. We can actually visually look at this. And this is a big one I use when folks say that they're hearing outside, that they're hearing EVPs or other sounds in the woods, that those birds that are out there, we can actually go through and look at those birds and see what they sound like if we went in and looked at like an osprey or something like that. And they will show you sound ID. Of course, it's not going to work, right? Then I want to show it here. There we go. So you can see how different calls come up and those different sound things. So getting to know some of the good scientific apps that are out there, or using BirdNet, this, again, you want something that's free oscilloscope. This is me talking right now. And if I get done and I want to analyze this kind of thing, when we say, hey, we're hearing the EVP, well, I go back and I do the little search feature that's on BirdNet and hit analyze. And for my Florida folks that were with us, it'll show us a wild guess. Well, there's a cardinal in the background, and we can play those items back. Usually it'll come up human when you're talking. But having some of those apps or another Spectroid to take a look at doesn't want to work with that. And we can also compare using a Hertz generator. And you can look at the different waves and change the different waves. And I don't want to mess with this too much, because if I get the wrong frequency, and we'll talk about frequencies and healing, that you can hurt somebody's ears, and I don't want to do that this evening.
No, let's not do that. Might
Yeah,
wake
that
us
would-
up.
That would no. There's one day I left the thing on, and there we go. There's a new screen. Had it really, really low, and the frequency gave me a headache because that was going on. But it's the same frequency you get, that I had set for doing a demo for what do you call it? Sump pump. All right.
What? So you're saying the
bad-
sound of a sump pump gives you a headache?
If a sump pump is at a wrong frequency, so there's again a lot of houses we've talked about the electrical, that you get that
Okay.
vibration going, again, sound vibration, that goes ahead and gets the vibration going, but it's vibrating a certain frequency. How sometimes you walk in and you feel sick or something like that. Certain frequency is going to give you a different sound, so like,
Right.
if I
Well,
turn off my Bluetooth on here and I go back to that frequency generator,
well, like for me, singing bowls and singing bowls, we'll start there. Singing bowls and I do not get along. My ears, my energy does not like. Really?
I was showing you. Yeah, I told you it was going to be again, this is an energy show, guys. That's why we're having problems tonight, because we're not on the same frequency. There we go.
Well,
see, many mechanical items do hit infrasonic ranges: car doors, motors, pumps. Thank you, Bill.
Yes. No, yeah, I totally agree. We definitely know that is an issue. A lot of people don't, or they are aware of the fact that these things can happen, but don't realize how many things in this day and age do. Right. But on the flip side of that, make that spiritual. You have something that spirit can. Man, I'm seeing shit all over the house tonight. I'm not gonna lie, it's starting to irritate me.
What'd you eat for dinner?
Nothing. Oh, burger. Why? That doesn't bother me. It's
Liquid
good,
death.
too.
I'm telling you.
All right. So spirit can also use different energy hubs, right? Whether it's a grouping of, cords, the electrical box, the sump pump, water, all those different things. So where you have those frequencies that are probably on their own creating issues, it can also help spirit heighten that energy as well. And people don't realize that either. So sometimes you go in and you're like, yeah, we figured this out. We're going to calm this down. But that actually helped that problem, that issue, that frequency, that energy, that electricity also ramps it. Okay, I'm done. I give up.
I'm sorry. My job is to read the comments. Trackway's going to try to conjure Max again. Smoking jacket, smoking jacket, smoking jacket. Okay, I'm sorry. That's good.
Poor Max.
Oh.
Yeah, but so sometimes it's a double-edged sword with that as well. All All right, what are these comments here? Because we do have to talk about, we're going to be done around 9:30 tonight. So we have to be, I want to talk about like energy in the way of humans and their spirit and their energy as well too. So
Okay. So
what do you
Patrick
have
says,
here?
also, I do not like singing bowls.
Yeah, they don't agree with me.
Bells, different
Bells
sizes, different frequencies.
depends. Yeah.
So now, if we go back, like
Yeah.
Andrea said about Monroe Institute, I know they do a lot of stuff with hemisync, which is a bilateral tone. And when I was going through all my classes for energy healing and stuff like that, we'd sit and meditate with the hemisync stuff. And
But that's a little
really
different than a
opens.
straight, right? Than a straight
Well,
bowl or a
it's
bell.
it's two different frequencies going, but you can go at those different levels. And again, like I said, if we go back and look at some of these frequency setups, and it basically was plugged in, I mean that's 775 hertz. We can take that up to 4,000. And as you move those around, you really can, depending on things. And they say each frequency is supposed to help heal and can hurt you too. I mean, there's that whole thing on Havana syndrome and stuff like that.
Are you making that noise? Oh,
Should
never
be
mind.
off.
My thing. Okay, never mind. My music turned on and I didn't realize it. I'm like, it was slow because I was pulling it up to use as an example. So like when I need to really get into a serious meditation or I need to really focus and have calm, my favorite to use is the Gamma meditation system, and it's from Dr. Jeffrey Thompson.
You're blurred out because you got your blur on your screen. Because you
Oh,
got
what the hell?
back blur. I think that's where you do the influencer thing and you put your hand behind it, and you got to tip your fingers on. I don't see that.
What?
That you want to talk about frequency, the ASMR stuff?
Wait, yeah.
Yeah, no, that's.
Oh, I turned it on.
Yeah.
But wait, totally changed it all together. Wow, I'm just really screwing this up all the way around. But anyway, he has like a spa one that I used to use when I did Reiki in person. There are a few. But this one is what I used for meditation. It's the green one. It's the inner mind. Those kinds of frequencies, those kinds of sounds mesh with my energy,
Some people like jazz. I can't stand it. I need my Twisted Sister or my Jimmy Buffett. It's very,
Yeah. I mean, if I want to relax and meditate, oh yeah, I've got anything from Enya to Kenny G to piano. Mostly instrumental. I don't like words. I need just the music in the background so I can.
And Enya just keeps me up. It's 3:00 in the morning. As a kid, TV's about to turn off, and that's that Pure Moods commercial coming on with Enya.
Wait a minute. As a kid, did she even make that song? I'm serious.
All right.
Because
when you're old enough to stay up all night and you fall asleep 3:00 in the morning, that Pure Mood CD was come on, and that was that Enya. Yeah, at 3:00.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Don't make me go find that CD. Well, no,
please don't.
No, because then we'd probably have to, get a strike against us for copyright or something like that.
Right.
So,
well, I mean, I think most of us would associate Enya with the Kraft macaroni and cheese commercial. Bree could never stand when that song especially would come on the radio. If I was listening to my Spotify, she's like, "Oh my God, all I see is that stupid macaroni phone. Can you turn it off?" Jeez. It was a song before they used it as a jingle for a commercial. So, I'm saying, but
we are
seriously,
completely off the rails tonight.
But it's true though. But so like everyone's different. So, as far as energy goes, those are good examples and kind of a way to transition into bringing that into the conversation, because energy is different. Our energy is unique to us. And, whether it's trying to connect to spirit and then trying to connect let other people come in and everyone's energy meshes. We meditate to change our brain waves, to change our energy, our vibration, to raise it, right? Because spirit vibrates at such a high frequency and we don't. So they have to lower theirs and we have to raise ours, right? So that can be an issue. Some people don't know how to do it. They can't do it. They can't figure it out, whatever. Some people can automatically do it because it's how their brain functions. So people who have autism, I can actually connect with them. They can connect with me on that wavelength. Their brain is already functioning in a way that we meditate to get to. And so being able to communicate with somebody in that deeper way that has one of those health issues is pretty cool because they're alive, right? Although I will say there was that one time, man, I don't know how I did it. All I know is I got into Billy's head. I wish I could. If he's watching, Billy, if you're watching, I'm going to wait for the response. No lie. I was in the dining room hanging some stuff in the coat and hanging some coats up or whatever. He was across the dining room into the living room at the computer with his back to me, playing a game or doing whatever. Greg was watching TV in his chair, so his back was to me because I was behind everybody. I think Abby or Bree were sitting on. I mean, Bree was little, and even Billy and Abby were like, I don't know, 12, 11, something like that. So, or maybe he was older, but he was like that kind of age range. So he's sitting at the computer. I'm doing my thing, and all of a sudden, I felt this energetic connection to him, and I didn't even realize what it was at first. I just knew I was honed in on him hardcore. And I looked up because it was almost as if he needed or wanted my attention. So I looked up and his back is to me. He's doing his thing. I'm watching the screen do whatever it's doing. And then I realized how connected I was with him. And in that moment, I was like, I sat there and I stopped everything. TV's going, computer's going, kids are in the living room. And I stopped and it was just, I could only sense him. And I just kind of closed my eyes and I just, in my head, I said, Billy, can you hear me? Billy, are you? He whips around and is like, did you call me? And he was totally freaked the hell out. And I was like, oh my God. And Greg's like, what's going on? What's going on? And he's like, oh my God. And Billy's like, oh my God, you did not get what? You did not just do that. And then there's Abby. What the hell just happened? And I'm dying. I was in such disbelief. I just was like, oh my God, you heard that? And he was like, get out of my head. I can't believe you did that. Get out of my head. I was like, oh shit. Greg's like, what the hell did you just do? I'm like, I don't even know. It was a connection in a moment that I wasn't even expecting. He was probably zoned out doing his thing. So his brain waves were where they needed to be. I was zoned out just kind of doing mine. You guys don't realize that you do more meditating and you do more calming of your energy by doing mundane tasks. Some people can just bake and they go into their zone. Some people can just cook and they go into their zone. You don't even realize you're doing it half the time. The tricky part is learning it and learning about yourself and how to get to that point. Because when you start trying to bring attention to it, that's when we start struggling, right? But we do it so much during the day, we don't even realize. And he was like, to this day, I mean, how many years, 20 years later, he's like, don't talk about it. I don't want to talk about it. I want to know nothing about it. I was like, but it blew my mind. It floored me how how easily it happened. And yeah, telepathy. I mean, it is a real thing. It truly is a real thing. When I was taking my first class, we would practice on each other during the class. And I remember I was really honed in. My energy connected with the woman I was working with, right? And our energy just meshed. And then I felt a different kind of frequency come in, and not quite understanding it back then. I was in a hospital room, right? We all know that I can remote view. That I can astral project. I'm standing in this hospital room. I'm describing this hospital room. And there's this lady across the room in the bed. I'm describing her. I'm describing her son. The lady in front of me is like, or my classmate was like, white. And I said, what's wrong? Am I that off? And she said, you're describing my friend who is currently at Buff General, waiting to be transferred to Strong Memorial for a liver transplant. She's alive. Because the woman in the hospital bed was like, hey, baby, what's up? How you doing? And I was like, oh, shit. What am I doing? So, there are... What?
I didn't say anything.
Yeah, that was weird. But, everything's weird in my world. But yeah, so you guys don't realize how... What? I pulled a U.
Things are weird in my world. My world is really weird. I have my running around with a medium. Yeah.
Which works very well in your favor. Thank you very much. Yeah. You're welcome.
Chasing the big hairy ape. What I'm doing here.
Well, that's all you. But yeah. So these things are real. Transfers of energy, changing our frequencies, things of that nature. I know you can power something on. I know somebody one time who was extremely upset and angry. Phone had been turned off, went and kind of just isolated themselves and tried to calm down and just get all their frustration out, had their phone in their hand and powered it on. No, he wasn't squeezing it to turn it on. It was sitting in his hand. And boom, the thing, that's how much energy and the frequency was where it needed to be to do that. When I was a kid, I grew up on Grand Island. For those of you who don't know what that is, it's a suburb between Buffalo and Niagara Falls. You had to do bridges both ways. There are lights. So I remember as a kid, when we would go over that, I always wonder why, as we were passing, some of the lights would flicker. And it was always like, as we passed them, then they'd stop. We have that effect. We have that capacity. We have that ability to do these things.
Well, I know a lot of people that have to have their computers insulated and stuff like that, just because they give off that funky, and
yeah,
it's, if we really look at it, tonal and frequency, if that's what we're going to talk about, and with the meditation and everything, if you look again. Opinion, what we've seen kind of going through, but you look at some of those older instruments and stuff, the Alphorns, the didgeridoos, those kind of thing, and then you look at monks around the world doing, their chants or throat singers. They're all kind of in those similar droning frequencies to put themselves in that one for distance, that infrasound for the carry. That low hum, but it's also putting in that vibratory meditation mode. So yeah, that whole that pressure tongue against the roof of your mouth, breathe out, just let it go. That meditative thing, really, it's there, and it is very similar to like you said, some of the singing bowls, some of those old instruments that. That drone really, it's that vibration that you're putting back in your system,
and actually that's also used for certain things in Reiki.
Yeah.
that guttural, that connection, that pressure, and that, yeah.
And there's some articles out there, I read a couple years back, and I wish we kind of threw this show together quick over the weekend and like, hey, how do we get there? Just with some stuff we've seen. So like I said, I know the audience is Trackway again. The significance is seeing infinity quite literally.
Any significance to seeing infinity? Yeah. What do you mean? I don't understand.
So I'm trying to see if he had. Trying to go back to Trackway. Going to conjure Max.
Yeah, I think you have to go up a ways. Because you're
Yeah,
starting with the most
I'm going up
recent.
there. But again, listening to some of that tonal stuff, I keep checking out the throat singers and stuff like that, and that vibration. But then looking at the monks and sitting there and putting that meditation together, it's just kind of
Right.
crazy. Um,
Right.
Bill, if you got the answer, if you want to stick it back in there we go. Seeing a glowing infinity symbol, sideways figure 8 infinity symbol. Okay.
Well, I know
Still
what an
missing.
symbol is, but like,
I'm missing the
but
the contacts, the head of that, Deb. We know what the infinity symbol is. I mean, I do a lot with my knife stuff is all X's and 8s and stuff. Okay. So Bill saw one. I guess he's got a story that kind of goes along with that.
oh,
Patrick, but aren't there more tonal sounds using low in frequency not to raise it?
I think
That's a good
sometimes
question.
yes. Yeah, I believe so. Yes. But so when you do use those, when you are dropping, you're opening your energy in your with the positive, you are raising the vibration, you are calming it. Hold that thought.
So, I mean, the stuff's there. So if somebody knows an audio specialist or a light specialist and they want to send them our way, we would definitely be interested in giving them a talk. That's okay. So
that was my intercom phone. It doesn't have because for whatever reason, for the new one, they could not find a volume button. So it has no volume button. That's what I get. And it's usually kids or someone hitting whatever, just hoping someone's going to let them in. It's great.
Yeah.
Talk about tones, right? That pierces me like a knife.
And that's just it. Think about tonal stuff and how it triggers old memories, working in, a business for years or something like that and used to that phone and not wanting to hear those phones. And then you go somewhere and hear those phones. I remember working in a hospital, and now if I go near another medical place that has that type of switchboard, that ringer drives me absolutely, batty.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah.
I'm gonna let you read that one because I got a case of the mumbles. So I'll put it up. Yep.
Okay. So Bill is clarifying. So he says, I was climbing a tower. The world went white. I turned and looked at the source. It was a pulsating, glowing infinity symbol. I wasn't alone when it happened. That's pretty darn cool, actually. My question is, if the world went white and you were just seeing white, you turned and looked at the source. So you were able to see a source or like something that was definitively different. Very interesting. I would love to hear more about that. Yeah. And I would love to know what else you were experiencing in that moment, where you were, and then it started to happen. What did you notice about yourself mentally and physically and emotionally? What was going through your head? How are you feeling? Did you smell? Did you sense, something? Did you feel a shift? Were thoughts going through your head that didn't normally go through your head? Did you feel happy? Did you feel sad? Did you feel up? Did you feel down? Did you whatever? Did you feel jumbled? Right? I feel like when I close my eyes and I just go to a quiet place, since I was a kid, I've always loved the infinity symbol. I always go, even just closing now, if I were to close my eyes, it puts me into a place of infinity where I just am. Right. And since I was a little kid, it's been like that. You know, people close their eyes and say, "Oh, you see something," or "Oh, here, now do these numbers." Nope, never ever happened for me. But I'd be like a state of infinity where there was like another universe that I would just be in the middle of. It's pretty cool. After fading, we let's see each other. That's that's amazing.
Out loud so our listeners can hear you.
Oh, sorry. So he says, after it faded, we looked at each other, climbed down, and had the greatest sense of calm. That's amazing. I love that. It was the most calming experience. How long did it last?
So was this like a telephone tower, or was this like a what am I looking for? Like a fire tower or something like that?
Yeah, like what were you doing and where were you? Did you notice the temperature change? Did you I have lots of questions. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
A TV tower.
Okay.
Was it powered up? Because I'm wondering about frequency, you know, and I know some of Trackway's background, you know, like were you kind of like grounded on the tower, or were the radio waves or TV waves going through you? Why that's going on, you know? I had a boss once, I grabbed an aluminum ladder and he grabbed it because it was too heavy for me because I was a little skinny guy and cut in half, you know, and watched him get shot across, watching that electrical energy just rip through and cut the letter right in half and just whoop right through.
That's
it was crazy. Blew him back. They're like, I don't know how he's alive.
Oh my God. That's insane. That's scary.
Had enough time to lean away and turn my upper body and look right at it.
Everything? What?
I have heard the story. It's coming back to me now. So.
Okay.
TV antenna attached to the house. Oh. I'm going to go out and grab mine. It's behind here.
Yeah, let's not.
Sounds like it was a good time. I want to go give it a shot, you know?
Sure. Oh, so you were living at home. So he says mom came screaming out of the house after it happened. So, well, but why? Maybe we should just bring him up. Want to come on? Tell your story. Do it for science. Shut up, Patrick.
We got a thunderstorm coming through, I think.
All right, listen. He's home alone right now, so someone get 911 just on speed dial, ready to go. Just get ready to. Because there ain't nobody there that's going to be able to take care of him. He goes flying off the roof.
Somebody climbed the tower of the roof.
Yeah, I was up on the roof once or twice.
Oh, the light filled the windows, so that's why, you know.
Oh, I gotcha. That's why your mom
made me remember. Jen asked about the UFOs like the last time she was on, and Lacey from Cryptid Women's Society, who also lives in Ohio, saw drones or what looked like UFOs in Ohio. And the interesting thing, they put the Bigfoot thing in there. That's kind of
Okay.
Not saying they're all connected, but it's just kind of weird that all this paranormal stuff's coming up in the last couple of months over there in Ohio.
Well, you know what I think about Bigfoot? You know what my opinion is? So that would make sense. No comment?
No, there's definitely comments. I was just trying to figure out things. So, Jen, look for Lacey from Cryptid Women's Society, or I'll try to put you in contact. I keep forgetting to send the joint message. But I know she'd posted on her page. She'd seen something. Like coming from the infinity symbol. Spill the tea.
What's my
Sounds-
opinion on Facebook? Or on Bigfoot, whatever the hell that is. I don't know what I'm saying now. You're rubbing off on me. I know because I've never really, but I mean, I always have in so many words said what my opinion of Bigfoot is. Do I think they exist? Yes, I do. Do I think they're flesh and blood? No, I do not. I think that they are interdimensional, and I think that they are capable of doing the things that people like myself are capable of doing. You know, we can jump around, we can remote view, we can astral project, right, Michael? Right, Michael?
What you talking about?
Just saying. Yeah, so I really believe, and I really believe that's why I explain so much. Do I think that they can leave something behind? Yeah, I do. But I also think that's why it explains that why there is no definitive proof out there. There's hair out there that people can't explain. There are certain things out there that people can't explain. But at the same time, you know,
Sorry, I thought my volume was off.
But I think that explains a lot of why you don't find, right? And why, but most importantly, why people see them the way that they see them and in the moments that they see them. Because if you think about how it works when you see a spirit, right? Even people who aren't like openly gifted or really connected, you could be making your bed and look up and catch a glimpse of your grandmother sitting in a chair in the corner and then she's gone. But in that moment, you're tucking it in and you just happen to look up, right? It's because you caught it at the right time. Everything lined up just right. Your energy, your frequency, your brain waves, the way, you know, where your mind was at, the fact that you weren't looking for it. So therefore you weren't forcing anything, everything relaxed and you went right to that place where all the stars lined up. And you're able to connect with their energy. So that's how I feel about the Bigfoot thing too, which is why I feel like it's important. And it's something, there's something to be said for having a medium when you can go out for Bigfoot too, because there's so much energy out in those woods and out in those places. We've been on walks in parks and things, and I have picked up on someone who drowned in a creek as we're crossing over the bridge, and he's right there at my feet. Like, so to decipher and discern what it is you're picking up on as well, because spirit can, you know, if you have your equipment out and things and you're looking for Bigfoot, spirit can also manipulate that energy because they're there, right? Even if they're not trying to do anything to it, just their being there, their energy is going to change something. So I think that the fact that some of us can visit or work with or intermingle with interdimensional beings and things, I think they're from a different dimension and they can come and go because they're way more put together with this than we are. So that's my 2 cents.
And of course, I'm on the other side of the spectrum where, you know, have I seen folks do things with their bodies that most people can't do? Yes. I've seen martial arts masters and yogis and, you know, tier 1 guys that, you know, put their bodies to the extreme or can meditate or lower their body for, you know, lower their frequencies and stuff like that. And again, matter, mass, whatever we have it's there. We're all composed of pretty much the same things, and how those things are put together is what makes us what we are. You know, and now there's a pair of glasses I want to get now. They're Fungi's or something. I think that's the name of the brand or something like that. But Larson's doing it, and I got to get back to Matt's comments there. He's not in there now. Central Kentucky Bigfoot. You know, we said for years, going out and looking at things with different glasses. And, you want to take that deep dive and go back and, how much is urban legend? How much is an urban legend? Supposedly there were some night vision goggles back from the 70s and late 60s that were red filters instead of green filters. And supposedly the guys could see spirits flying around. And again, how much is urban legend? How much is it they were just a piece of junk and they didn't work? Or but there's a lot of times we go out and we use different camera filters so we can look at different things. So there's just so much stuff that we, and crystals. I mean, having a guy that was an engineer and a doctor talks about Trackway texts Mike.
Thanks, Mike.
Thanks, Mike. Oh, okay. Yeah, it's been one of those days today. Trying to get used to the new schedules, just kind of throwing me off a little bit. But this is crystals and minerals and everything else, and we can communicate. Bill saying he got on his TV antenna. Well, that's hooked at that time. I'm sure was probably hooked to a lot of crystals and minerals and other stuff. Oh, he sent me a text. Okay. He did send me a text. And Work sent me a text.
So just going back to what he said. So Bill elaborates and says it was like looking at, as far as the infinity symbol goes, it was like looking at tubing, and I could see the power pulsating in the tubing that made up the symbol. That's pretty cool. And then Jen 123 says, what I want to try next when we go to Joe's is using the dowsing rods to communicate. Did it once at a different Ohio camping place and had a full conversation that was very interesting. Oh yeah, it's dowsing rods, the art of dowsing is really awesome because you are using energy. You're using your energy. They're using energy. But again, just like anything else, you're also at the mercy of whatever they're going to tell you. So there's never any good way to validate what you're getting unless you're doing it independently with like a medium or multiple people. But even then, if you're just simply relying on spirit, that's the problem is you only know as much as they're going to tell you. And if they lie, some spirits lie, but dowsing rods are fun to use. They are. And then he said it was a Sasquatch and that they had been there before Modern Man. Did I miss? Okay, what's the context of that one?
I got to get back up there.
I must have missed something in the...
I don't have anything tagged there. I'm trying to...
Okay. And then Andrea says, I agree. Interdimensional makes a lot of sense. Yeah, right. Another thing that always kind of baffled me is with something as large and as heavy, what'd you do?
It came through with the dowsing rods is the follow up with the Jen's comment.
I know, but I was answering Andrea's, my dear. Hold on. Okay, sweet. All right. So with the dowsing rods, or with the, see, dang, I'm all screwed up. Okay. So with the interdimensional, the other thing that always got me was something that big and something that heavy. Why, when people are, some people are close to them, right? When they have their experience, but you never hear anybody say, I felt the ground shake. Or I've never heard
a lot of times.
As they stepped, I've never heard one person that we've talked to say that. Never. Yeah. It was boom, boom, they took a step and then they were gone. They might have heard trees in the distance, but I've never heard one person say, yeah, oh my God, it was crazy. I could feel the ground vibrate because they were so heavy and they were running. And if they're running, like some of them say, it would be like,
oh yeah. Oh,
like nobody. I've never.
I've been there when that's happened. I've been there
Okay.
when
All
that's
right.
happened.
So there you go. Okay. So that good. That answers that. But yeah, so that's, those are some of the reasons
I
why,
watched a very macho police officer run out of the woods screaming that
because of,
there's something. It jumped out of the tree and ran off on 2 foot, and you could feel it running off through the swamp.
it
At
could
that,
feel the vibration,
at,
the floor, the ground and
oh yeah,
everything.
yeah.
No kidding.
That location that we were at. Yeah, you're talking 1,000-pound animal and moving. But
Well,
again,
right. That's my point. Like,
but
the herd.
I've been around large elephants and other large animals that when they're moving, that you again structure nature makes things so they go through, hippos
Yeah.
and rhinos and stuff like that. You may or may not depend on that structure, that foot, which you're going to feel. That's
Okay.
that's the
That's
big
fair.
thing is, and
Hmm.
conversation years ago about gel packs and building moccasins and how they soft padding, and I had that talk with
Mm.
Meldrum years ago about how much
Yeah.
fat pad would you need, how much whatever, um
Right.
and if
No, that makes sense.
you are firm on your feet, and there's big people we know that you can see them move very smoothly, very quietly. Um,
Hmm.
yeah, not always. Again, the interdimensional thing. If you look at like the trees behind me, here's big tree here. But again, if I bring my finger down here, that big tree, it's gone.
Right.
It's the
Right.
optical illusion. And on a
Right.
moss setup like this, you're gonna get sound dampening. It's a nature
Mhm.
of things.
The beast. The nature of the beast. All
You know,
right, so let's see. Oh, sorry. Wait a minute. Where did you get? I was trying to go in order to catch everybody.
all
What
right,
did
well,
you put up?
go in order. Go in order. I
Yeah, you're
clicked the
really
last.
off tonight. What is up with you? Usually you're like the Gestapo with me. Make sure you try to go in order. Make sure you don't want to miss anybody. Grr.
Don't use that word these days. Jesus.
Huh? Oh,
We
whatever.
add we had eye shine. Okay, that's to go along with the dowsing rods and Jen's thing. So that the Bigfoot came through with the dowsing rods and then the eye shine and
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. I mean, there's so many different techniques in the situations you're in, and depending on what you're doing, it's nice to know there are a lot of different ways you can try things. And I think the person also, it depends on who's doing it as well. This is interesting. Patrick has this question. So, would you classify spirit as being in another dimension?
well, if you watch Stargate, I mean,
I've never watched Stargate.
I'm a
I would
MacGyver fan.
say
You got to go from that,
I didn't watch MacGyver either. I would say yes if they're not crossed over because they're still in this plane or within our plane. But I would say if they're in the light, that is more divine, and that is the safe place for us to go. But then that poses the question, well, can that also be considered a different dimension, right? I don't know. That I don't know, but I feel like there is a divide because of how I connect with spirit, depending on where they are. If they are earthbound and they've not crossed into the light and not gone into that divine, jumped up, we'll say into that divine, and there's that distinction. Yeah, I think it is a different dimension. Just, yeah, different planes, dimensions, however you want to say it. So I would say yes for that. What do you think, Mike?
Again, things move on some really weird setups. Again, we brought up our folks at Monroe Institute and some of the remote viewing, some of the energy stuff we've seen. this was kind of more when we put the show together was more of a to stimulate thought. And again, if folks have friends that are specialists in sound and light wave, I mean, I'd love to talk to them. Most the old time viewers and stuff know I got a big thing in looking at colors and stuff like that. And we look at folks that have some kind of eye surgery, color blindness, visual impairity. Everybody sees things at a different frequency. So we go back to hearing. What do we have? Any hearing damage or whatever? I mean, how do you say you have 100% hearing and you're hearing this frequency? Some people hear stuff higher, lower. So it's all our own personal image. I mean, what we even see of each other or our own voices. Think about hearing your own voice on a recorder. That's not me, because to you sound different. When I go back and listen to this stuff, it's like that's not me. I'm, more whiny than I am,
No argument there.
but again, it's tonal, it's frequency, so what are we hearing? The wood knocks, how many times we're out with folks. Oh, I heard this knock, we heard this here, and you may have heard it and I didn't hear it, but again, it's that frequency and picking up the right stick to pound on a tree. Trackway's right, throwing bone conduction in there as well. I just recently switched to bone conducting headphones and stuff like that because I'm there. That's my new thing is I have 2 or 3 sets of bone conducting that I can hear when I'm out running around, so I can hear what's out in the woods. Andrea, animals seeing different spectrums. I used to say let's use cats and dogs to investigate just to see if they could see and point things out. There's a lot of times that I don't know how that's going to work. Chewy's got a girlfriend. Brian and Chewy, those guys, they're out together. Chewy's a shepherd chow mix that we've taken out. Trackway and Ms. Trackway and Jen, we've been out with the dogs before, which you see. I take my Doberman out in the backyard to look, inside the fence, look for deer or other things. I'm going to go out tonight in about 20 minutes and she's going to chase something around the backyard. I have no doubt in my mind with the woods behind me. But yeah, I mean, everything sees a different spectrum. Again, we go back to the UV, certain cats come up yellow underneath UV spectrum, squirrels come up, and that's we've done episodes on color spectrums and UV light and even, animals seeing urine or UV. The caribou do that to track, the ways we're using UV light. So
yeah, but as far as like using them energetically or psychically, people will use their animals before they buy a house if they find a house they like, because animals are able to sense that. They have that sixth sense. So they will bring their animal to a home that they want to buy. If the animal is not comfortable there or acts different or weird, or you can tell something's wrong, they usually will not end up buying that house because they know the animal is picking up on something that's not okay. It's very true using the animals with the different spectrums like that, psychically and energetically. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I have a friend right now that's pointing me in the direction of somebody who's having an issue in her home. And for months now, the dog, no matter where they're at in the house, same time frame every night, goes and barks at the front door or in the front foyer area. So trying to help her figure that out because that's a new thing all of a sudden and there's nobody there and she lives alone. So, yeah. I would just say this last question, Patrick, just to finish off, since you were the one who gave me this idea tonight. I think that as far as the spirit world goes, or the way that certain interdimensional creatures will or will not react. It depends on what they're there for. I just had a very interesting conversation with somebody today about fairies. And, they're not necessarily something that you interact with. They are who they are. They do what they do, but you don't necessarily interact with them the way you would with people who have passed, or animals who have passed. As far as showing in a photo, have we really ever gotten a photo? I don't think. I mean, all the photos that have been taken, the few that are out there, are all in question, right? But there is one. What was it? Gimlin? Is it the Gimlin?
Patterson Gimlin film.
Yeah. Patterson Gimlin. But I mean, so that's the clearest one that's out there, right? But I don't think anyone's ever been able to get a photo of that. Where spirit link or spirit stays, spirit comes with intention. That's different. It almost seems like Bigfoot, Sasquatch, whatever you want to call them, does its thing. And we happen to notice. I think that's where the difference is. And because it's so quick, I mean, if you think about it, we don't always get pictures of spirit as quickly as we see them and they're gone either, and they don't all show up even though they are here. So I think it's really more with Bigfoot that people just don't have the chance to take a picture of them, that's my opinion.
Like I say all the time, put your phone in your front pocket or you put it in your hand. Have somebody count to 3 and see if you can turn your phone on, get to where you want to go, and get a photo and see what you're going to get. Even try going down the road and you see a hawk on the side of the road. No, don't do that because as long as you're in the passenger seat, you're not driving. See how fast you can get your camera out and get that photo.
Yeah.
At 55, you're in the passenger seat, try to pull it out and try to get that photo. Your average.
Yeah, trust me, I've been in the passenger seat when he's trying to get his camera out, and I'm like, "What the hell are you doing?" As we're like swerving all over, I gotta get the camera. And we're already like long past whatever he wanted to take a picture of, Or here, hold this. So I'm holding it like this. We can just grab it. It's not easy.
Motorola double twist your wrists. Okay. Well, Jen, we're going to try that the next time the group of us is together. We're going to see how that works. I know I've got 1-2 switches and mine's supposed to come on, but half the time your hands are sweaty or whatever, you're going to get the wrong screen. And that actually turned on for once. But I've done it where I've been speaking engagements in front of a couple hundred people, and maybe 3 people might get the camera up and running in that 3-second time frame that I give them, because it's 1, 2, 3, as they say, and it's across the road. Now put it in the woods and then say, oh my, did I actually see what I saw? And let your brain process and then get the camera to go. Right. There was something. We were somewhere and it was like, oh man, I can't believe I'm actually seeing this. And then you're like, oh, I need to get camera out,
Right.
I mean,
and the same can go for spirit too, if you are seeing something. You know?
I mean, Jen, you bring up Joe's spot. I mean, you guys know we were down there and had the bear just before we took care of his ashes and stuff like that. And, I walked out of the car. I had the camera, a DSLR camera on my chest mount, on my chest. And I practiced with that all the time, coming up, turning it on and taking the photos and just like a cop would do with a gun or a military person. I practiced the camera that way all the time. And I got out of the car and I turned around and there's a bear standing behind me. And I'm like, wow, that's a nice big dog. That's not a dog. That's a bear, because your brain is going to process to that point before you get that camera switch up and going. So.
Right.
All right.
Wow, these were really good questions and really good conversation, everybody. This was good. Yeah. It's not a cut and dry thing,
No, this was definitely this is to stimulate future conversation with future guests. And think about your gears. Sheila asked, earlier on about gear and instead of the phone. Yeah, you can go get a spectrogram. You can go get a whole bunch of equipment and carry a whole bunch of stuff out there. But it just happens to be this device has some stuff there an iPad or something like that.
Yeah.
So thank you all. We are back on the 24th.
24th. Mm-hmm.
I don't know if we're going to have a guest that night or if we're going to be a reading show, but we'll be back on the
We haven't
24th.
decided yet. Yeah.
Yeah, I have 2 guests that I'd like to bring on, and we gotta get some schedule. We are still trying to get the folks there from the South Pacific, but they've kind of taken a quick little break on doing interviews and shows. They're doing all their stuff pre-recorded right now. So, but
yeah, so it's kind of hard, but at some point when it's right, it'll happen.
Yeah. But next week you're on Thursday night with Nate and
the 19th. Yeah.
The 19th.
Realm of Darkness with Nate and Ashley. Yep.
Yeah. And I will be on Tim Shaw show on Tuesday night. We're going to talk, Bigfoot and, the anti-hoaxing or some of the equipment you're going to be able to use to kind of collect some evidence.
Very cool. Yeah, that's more your department.
Yep.
Equipment and stuff. Awesome. Well, we really appreciate all of you guys. We love all the different thoughts and all the different questions, and keep them coming. So enjoy the nice weather that we are having, and hopefully it stays that way. I mean, especially now that we've lost an hour of sleep. This was the worst weekend for it to happen, but we made it through. So, all right. Well, have a wonderful 2 weeks, and let us know if you have any events, if you have anything coming up, and until next time, be safe.
And sample on. I can't hit the buttons. There we go.